rain. The lake was low, and now we're at flood stage. And last night, flooding rains all over the place, roads closed, the creeks are ripping. So I'm sure they'll close off the canal because the canal will be flooded, which the lake's already flooded. And if they close the locks, then the lake will come up even faster. So we're looking at a beautiful weekend coming with debris and high water. People are going to fret and be frustrated because in some cases their boats aren't in, and when their boat is in, it's not really going to be safe to use it. So it's quite the beginning in the New York boating season up here. And Jeremy, you're in Florida. I know,
Yeah, I'm
at least
actually in
for a
Tampa
day
right
or
now.
two, right?
I'm in Tampa for the today and tomorrow. So it's definitely a lot warmer here, and humid than it was at Lake of the Ozarks where I normally am.
Well, we're going to start right at noon, folks. So I'm glad you're all getting logged in. You're in the right place uh, to learn more about AI today. We've got a lot to get through and great stuff. Really, really interesting stuff. Just had a Marcus is here, and some of the things he'll share and that Jeremy is share will can change your dealership. And I mean, within years, I think AI is going to change our lives, and that is in no way an exaggeration. It's incredible, and these two that we've got with us, and Jared as well from the MRAA, are using AI uh, in ways that are going to help us. They can share with us, and I'm really looking forward to this. So we're gonna start in basically right now. So I want to welcome you all. The MRAA welcomes you, and especially the event you're seeing today and all the information throughout the month of May and into June is really made possible by the MRAA Educational Foundation. There is a QR code. As far as codes go today, please keep your phone out, scan the QR code, go to the link, and bookmark it because we want you to go back to these QR code links and be able to look at them afterwards. They are a couple of them, especially two near the end, I think are essential in improving your digital marketing. And one other piece before we jump forward is for most of the information you're going to be seeing from AI, and a lot of these slides are totally AI information, we were using ChatGPT. And there are other items. We'll talk about those later on. But for now, a lot of what you're going to see is through ChatGPT and one of the levels that ChatGPT provides. So wanted to put that out there. Jared, will you share a little bit more about the foundation and this piece?
Yeah, Bernie. So this is a survey of boat dealers, and it talks about the need in digital marketing. One of the results, and it was sponsored by the MRA Educational Foundation. But what we found out was that some of the dealers out there kind of just don't have the time or the resources or the knowledge to know exactly what they're doing right or wrong in digital marketing. And they're trying to find answers to that. And one way they can is with AI too.
Definitely. Well, folks, as a dealer, I have the pleasure of being a co-owner of dealership, a couple of spots up in New York, and you're all out there, and we know the challenges are real. They are difficult right now. And so I like to say, let the MRAA be your lighthouse. Let us be your guide. Let us be the place that you can turn to know you're headed in the right direction or to get you headed in the right direction. And today, I like to call these two our lighthouse keepers. We have two of the very best, Jeremy Anderson and Marcus Sheridan. Jeremy has dealership experience. That leads the way for us, but his consulting is changing the way I do business, and I think will change the way a lot of us do. And Marcus, if you haven't been to Dealer Week and heard him before, you are truly missing out. And his latest book just came out, Endless Customers, and I know he's been on the road sharing information about that. We will have a Q&A time a bit later here where you can put your questions right to them. We also have some slides with a lot of text. Don't panic. If you can't read it, if you can't get it all, you can take a picture with your camera, but also we will be sending out a recording of this webinar for you. That'll come out later today or tomorrow. So don't worry about if you miss a slide, don't fret. You're going to have a chance to really dig in on them if you want to. And before we go into what we've accomplished, Marcus, I'm going to go to you for a moment. Where do people begin in using AI? Right at the very start of their interaction, what do you suggest?
Yeah, let me just give a couple suggestions on this one, everyone. I think first and foremost, before you start thinking about platforms or you think about tools, you have to say to yourselves, are we an AI-based organization or not? Now, of course, I hope that the idea or the answer to that is yes, because it's extraordinary how many companies are already, I'm seeing it, be left behind. And one of the reasons why a lot of companies are laggards on this, and you might be experiencing this yourself if you're listening right now, is you're basing history and what you've experienced in the past and comparing that to what we're going through right now. And it's not a good idea to do that. Let me give you an example of this. A lot of marine dealerships were pretty slow in the, let's just call it the early 2000s when websites were coming out, because folks were like, I don't know if I'm going to need a website. And so for some, it actually took a few years, like 5, 6, 7 years to get that first website up. Then they got it up because it became table stakes. And so there's this period of 5 to 10 years where everybody eventually got on board. Well, AI is not like that, everyone. You don't have that same time space that's given to you to just relax and say, well, I'm going to be a laggard here. I'm just going to wait and see what everybody else is doing. And then hopefully we can catch up to it. It just doesn't work like that. There's a great quote when it comes to AI is you can't fit the future in the containers of the past when thinking about AI. And so as you look towards the future, be careful not to compare what's happening now and what's going to be happening with what happened before. Yes, sometimes history is a great teacher. In this context, it's going to lead you astray if you're not very, very careful. So once you just say to yourselves, we're going to be an AI-based organization, and I, as a leader, am going to be a leader of this. I'm not going to be just, let me just throw this on my team. I'm going to get in the sandbox myself as a leader of the organization. Then best thing that you can do, each person that's listening to this, is you go to a place like ChatGPT right now and you say, okay, this is my name. This is what I do for my company. Here's a description of my company. And I think we're even going to show example maybe of this or two. And I want to know from you, how could you help me do my job better? Don't overcomplicate step one. So once you get the buy-in, the commitment, literally go to it, explain your situation, and say, what ways can you help me? What questions do you want to ask me so that you can help me? See it as an assistant, not as a tool. This is not a tool. This is an assistant. It's actually multiple assistants for you. If you do that, you're going to be off to a good start.
That Marcus, because Marcus didn't spend a lot of time with us ahead of time. He's putting his knowledge out there with us live. And one of the things we did was we asked AI, what can AI do? I asked it as a dealer. I said, what can you do?
Hey, Bernie, it looks like your volume went out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jared.
All right, you're back now. Your
No, that's
volume
good.
went
Yeah.
out for a second there for some reason there.
All right. Sorry about that. There's an entire list. Take a screenshot of it and it will help you. You can ask AI more about it. But the last piece that it offered, I thought was really important. we know the boats, we know our customers, but how AI can help us is to get more and better of both. And as Marcus said, if you don't start integrating AI now, even in just one or two areas, you'll be miles behind your competitors in no time at all. So I'm going to jump here in just a second to Jeremy, because what we wanted to do is really share some real world examples. But there's two parts to this that you need to know as a dealer. The first is AI can help you, and Marcus is great at describing it as an assistant as opposed to a tool. Just remember, you're the editor. It's not necessarily going to create something that's the final product. In fact, the way that Jeremy described it and Jared described it was, remember, we're showing you the recipe. In a lot of these instances, we're not baking the whole cake. It's kind of an interesting analogy, but I think it's spot on. So Jeremy, let's jump right in with where you started with some real world examples.
Well, in this case, we talked about your dealership, and I wanted to find out, from like an FLX perspective, hey, the problem people have right now is with their websites, and they're worried about leads, and they're worried about where people are getting their information from. So we said, hey, let's take your website, Bernie, just as an example, and let's have ChatGPT write the About Us section. And so the prompt is there. Help me write the About Us section of a website for FLX Marine, include the cities, the history, the brands they carry, and unique information you can find. And for me, if I'm somebody writing this unfamiliar with Bernie's business, this gave me a lot of information. It gave me way more than I thought it would. And I was impressed with all of the information that it did give me and how correct that it was. And so again, it might not be perfect. It might not have the exact year. It might not have all of the brands. Maybe one of them's gone now. Maybe he's added something else, but maybe it's 85% of the way there. And I think if you're creating a website, or if you're going through the website trying to optimize it right now, the more information that's out there, Bernie, I wish we could show what was currently on your website. This shows so much more detail, and it lays it out in a much neater, cleaner way, that I think that it shows that there's a better way to do it. And, Marcus, maybe you can talk about that from a little bit, right? If you have something that's most of the way there, this can make it just that much better.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that as you were discussing it, Jeremy. A lot of people will look at AI and then they'll say, look, there's a mistake right there. And then they'll disregard all the other benefits that they could have just experienced simply because of some slight imperfection, which literally makes no sense. Because find me an employee on your team that's perfect right now, that doesn't have a flaw, and then we're talking. So whenever there's innovation in society, there's 4 stages of resistance to that innovation. And we're seeing those stages, and it very much applies to what you just said, Jeremy, which is stage 1 is we ignore the innovation, the change. So a lot of folks are just like, whatever, I'm not interested at all. So that's stage 1, they ignore it. Stage 2 is they laugh at it. And oftentimes they're laughing at it because it's not quite perfect yet, and there's might be a couple small issues with it. AI, it was like that. A lot of people using, I see it's making this mistake. Oh, it just writes poems and stuff like that. That's what a lot of people are saying. But stage 3 is where it gets really interesting, because in stage 3, this is where, again, stage 1, they ignore you. Stage 2, they laugh at you. And stage 3, they fight you. And what's happening, you're going to see, is a lot of people are going to start to fight against AI because they're afraid that it's going to affect their self-identity and how they have essentially run their business or their life or their profession. Stage 4 is it wins. In this case, the technology wins, and that's what we're going to see here.
Definitely.
And again, this is not meant to replace people. We're not showing you AI so you can necessarily cut staff. We're showing you what can be done to be more efficient, work faster, more efficiently, and find better information because it's already out there. And so this was a great example, just as a really quick, hey, if I'm never looked into FLX Marine in the past, what do I have that's out there? Imagine if you actually knew in depth, and we'll get into prompts and asking better questions. But I just thought this was a great way to get it started, to say, hey, look, just go through your own website and ask it to give you the information that it can find, which is probably better than you already have on your website.
Yeah. And I saw we had a gentleman ask about, can AI help you design content for your website? Yes, we'll go into that actually in just a couple minutes, but for sure, content, it can help not just with your website, but Facebook, everywhere. So stay tuned here for just a couple minutes. One of the things we, as mentioned, was we wanted to do some really real world examples for you. And one that Jeremy brought up and pointed out was, look at the pictures of new boat inventory on most dealerships' websites. And he honestly went to mine and said, look at yours. And I cringed, honestly, because it's exactly what you see in that picture. That's not one of our boats, that's someone else's. So I asked AI, is it true that most dealerships in marine post their digital marketing photographs of boats on land on trailers? And if that's true, why? And the response was immediately, there's first compelling evidence why in-water photos are better. But then it also said, and these make complete sense, it's spot on. Why do we do it? Convenience and speed, that's why I do it. Cost and logistics, that's why we do it. We're not going to take the time to put all of our boats, the volume of inventory we have in the water, take pictures and bring them out again. It's clean and controlled. You never have a customer that's going to say, well, my new boat's already been in the water. No, it hasn't. If it's been on the trailer, we didn't necessarily do that. And of course, some dealer website templates expect you to have certain sizes and things. But I will tell you, AI can overcome that for you as well. So let's jump right into this next piece. Let's get those boats off the trailers and in the water, but not in real life. Jeremy.
Okay, so the problem if you're looking through any MLS site is if you're scrolling through and you're looking at, in this case, it's a Pursuit DC 246, there's 10 of them for sale, 12 of them for sale, maybe 100 of them for sale. What's going to set yours apart and make a consumer want to click on it? Certainly a boat in the snow on a trailer doesn't make someone say, oh, I can totally see my family in it. So the idea was, how can we change it and make it a little bit easier and maybe make it look a little bit nicer? So this is the prompt. We told it what it is. It's a Pursuit with a Yamaha. The first pictures of the port side with the trailer. The second pictures of this. I uploaded the photos. And again, this is using ChatGPT. Go back just a little bit. This is using ChatGPT. I pay for the $20 a month version. I think Marcus can talk later about which version you should have, but my prompt was, using the pictures and description of the pictures, show the boat floating in the ocean off the coast of Connecticut at sunrise from a side view. This is one of my early ones that I first started doing. Go ahead, Bernie, switch the slide.
All right. Jeremy, I just want to say, we've got folks that are potentially looking at this and saying, but you're telling everyone's going to do this?
No, they're
just
not.
It's like Marcus said with websites. It took 7 years for people to do it. Now, if we wait, we're going to be in trouble, but not everybody's going to do this. I would bet you that a small percentage of the people watching today will actually do something with this. So I'm hoping everyone will.
And like, do it well. It's like, it's crazy. I wrote They Ask You Answer for the world. I've taught They Ask You Answer as a pool guy to now hundreds and hundreds of swimming pool companies. Less than 2% have done it even close to we did at River Pools. And yet they literally have a perfect formula written out for how they can become like the most trusted voice in swimming pools. They won't do it. It is fascinating how it works. It's the ultimate. You can take it, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make a drink. And that's what we're seeing a lot right now with AI.
Yeah. And let's look at,
so we wanted to go through. Yes. Will people use it? I mean, maybe someone will, but there's a huge percentage that won't. Now, this was the first one it gave me. So this clearly is not the right boat that you want. And go ahead and click to the next screen, because I removed the canvas. So in ChatGPT, you can take the picture and you can use the highlighter function. And I use my Apple Pencil and I colored in the canvas and I said, remove the blue canvas cover from this area of the boat. And it was highlighted on the screen. I highlighted it and hit it, and this is what it gave. And then I said, leave the boat the same, but change it to noon and full day sun. And this is what it gave. So it's changing the picture as it keeps going. Go ahead, one more.
Jeremy, this is where it can be better than a stock photo from a dealer
Right.
in the next steps that you provide.
Yep. So keep the boat exactly as it is, change the location in front of this lighthouse on a summer day with some very light clouds in the sky. It's exactly what it did, but it left the boat the same. And I saw somebody comment about if people see that it's fake, they won't like it. The boat business for decades has used rendering. They've used, I mean, any yacht you see, any new model coming out, everybody uses renderings to do it. And look, you just have to tell them, this is a rendering photo. And then you follow up in the listing with the rest of them. This isn't meant to change all of the photos of the boat. This is an example of something you can choose to do to put it on your home, your what do you call thumbnail picture, right? For your MLS listings and for your website. When the person clicks into it, they're going to actually see the photos, and they might see the ones in the snow in this case of what it was. But what you're trying to do is show them something to click on. And if you have a boat you don't have in stock, you've either used a stock photo or you've used the photo rendering from a Build-A-Boat and gotten the same way. So this just gives you an example of something that you can do. And this was early on. It did the Pursuit pretty well. It didn't do the Yamaha perfectly. We did it one more time. I changed it and said, leave the boat where it is, put the Jack Castle in the background. I wanted to show the different examples because you can put it wherever you want and you can leave the boat where it was. I'm sorry, leave the boat looking the same, but put it in the different background. If you wanted it to be in saltwater in Florida, you could put it in saltwater in Florida at twilight and it'll show it.
Yeah. And he
And
put one on Cayuga Lake. He just said, put it on Cayuga Lake. And when he did, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't Cayuga Lake. I would have said, yeah, it looks like it's on the lake where I sell boats. No doubt about it.
Right.
Quick suggestion on this, everybody. One of the best ways that you can do this is you show it on the yard, the photo, and then you show the AI images as in a way of saying, so you've got the stock, you've got the photo of it on site, and then you say, now here's what it would look like if. And so then you show the application and you're saying that it's done with AI. And so you just want to get in, because everybody has to start thinking like that. If you say immediately that loses trust, what you have to actually be thinking is, well, how do I do that in such a way that it actually increases the trust? Because there's always the other side of the coin. You can absolutely do these new images and increase trust and increase excitement for the buyer simply by saying, here's the one on the lot, here's what it would look like if, and then you can fill in the blank with the image.
So Jeremy, they don't always
So
come
it's
out right.
certainly not perfect. As I've played with it, messed with it, and done stuff with it, it seems to have a problem with pontoon boats because of, I think, all the rails and the lines and the pieces. These are a couple of Benningtons that I tried. This is both actually the same boat in the pictures that were uploaded. What I found, and I think the next boat we show will show better pictures, uploading better pictures gives you a better answer. And I was having a problem getting what I wanted from AI. So I asked it how to do better, because this isn't Google. You're not searching for the answer, you're asking it for the answer, and it's going to tell you and explain to you how to do better. So those two pictures and some other ones that I had, I put these pictures are not exactly the boat I originally uploaded. How can I ask for the boat to render correctly? Well, it goes to precision and prompt, and it talks about what to do and how to do it. It told me something that I guess it took me a minute and took me back. It can't copy the photos directly. It's not copying your photos. This isn't Photoshop. It's not cutting the boat out off the trailer and pasting it into the water. It's making a rendering based on the information you tell it. So for those people who have taken copy and paste off of Build-A-Boats or other websites and then put it in their own water, it's kind of the same thing, but it's different because it's doing it for you. And imagine how much time you spent in Photoshop trying to cut and paste and do all that when you can just ask it to do it for you. And again, it's a rendering. So personally, I would put an asterisk on the bottom that says this is a rendering of the actual, based off of pictures of the actual boat, and let them know, again, to Marcus's point, to build the trust to say, yes, this is what it could look like floating in the water.
We've got one more that Jeremy did, and I think it really came out quite well with just its first rendition. So let's
Yep.
share
So
that
we
with.
use, again, this is me taking what AI told me to do. Use the uploaded image. It gave me an example of the prompt to use. Use the uploaded images as a visual reference and create a realistic rendering of the exact boat. And I put what it was. Floating on Lake of the Ozarks, which is where I live, in the summer midday sun. Note the trailer and remove it in the rendering. So go to the next picture. That's what it created. That's pretty good. It's maybe not
That's
perfect.
freaking
Maybe there's
awesome.
a line off.
I think
Yeah.
it's great.
So would you rather, as you're clicking through and scrolling through, would you rather see the boat on the trailer in front of the brick wall that they had, which is how they take all their pictures? Or would you rather see this? And again, this isn't to replace the other pictures, it's to be in addition to, which manufacturers do all the time, which is a normal course of business of what people are doing. You're just doing it a little easier, but you're using your actual boat to do it. So I don't know, Marcus, if you want to chime in, you said it was look great. I mean,
Yeah, it looks
you've seen
good.
this a
I
lot
mean,
more.
again, but I don't sit there and nitpick it to get, to death and say, oh, they didn't spell Regal perfectly because it has a hard time still with letters, which isn't going to last much longer, but it's still happening. The point of the matter is, this is great. I mean, freak, McDonald's has been doing this for years. You think that burger you see on their commercials is a stinking one that came from the restaurant? No, but it makes you salivate. It makes you say, oh, well, maybe not you, but you understand what I'm saying. And these are great ways because one of the biggest issues we have in our space, everybody sees it, is crappy images, right? We're terrible at that when it comes to marine because a lot of us aren't very techy and we don't know Photoshop. Now we don't have an excuse to have really poorly rendered photos of our product that we have in stock. We have a way now to show it that is much more experiential, much better, much cleaner, and you don't have to hire some daggone photoshopping expert to pull this off. And that should be very exciting to you as a dealer.
And the way that, and think of all the money you spent or save because of how much you spend doing a professional photo shoot by putting boats on the water, launching them. This is literally something that you could get a boat of the water floating in the water as you're unwrapping it in the shop, and then having a handful of other sites. Now, if you still want to do a professional photo shoot, you still want to put the boat on the water, great, go ahead. But sometimes, and from when we were a dealership, look, you wait for a sunny day, you wait for it to look like this outside. It might take 2 weeks, and then you're trying to line it up with 4 or 5 different boats, 4 or 5 different photographers, a drone guy, a boat guy, you've got multiple people, multiple drivers. The cost, the time, and the just opportunity lost of where everyone's on the water for half a day doing a photo shoot. This takes it and makes it so much easier to do and so much better than what even most of them have of the boat, again, sitting in the lot in front of their showroom.
Well, the interesting part for us is the images are something I know after seeing this we need to change. But Jeremy pointed out, and I know Marcus has in the past, that there's so much more it can do. And here are just a couple of examples. And I got to take it on the chin from Jeremy.
Yeah, so
between
this is Bernie's boat on the gravel lot on a trailer in front of his building, and I said, Bernie, we're going to use your boats and do this with, okay? And he's gracious enough to allow us to do it. On his website, there are no descriptions for his boats. It's got the specs, but no story. So you have pictures that are, we'll call them questionable, it's standard for the industry, but no description on the boat. So we want to find out what it was. The boat will be listed for sale. This is where it is. This is the boat.
Whoops,
Please write a
sorry.
brief description. Yep, go ahead. Please use a brief description that could be used as an online listing. So what did it do? It went and found this. It basically created this paragraph. It experienced a perfect blend, whisper gray accents, spacious layout, other amenities, cruising for Finger Lakes or tubing with the family. Again, we put Finger Lakes because that's where he boats. So we're personalizing it. And this is first shot. This isn't me editing it. This isn't asking it any other question. We're showing you the raw. We're showing you the prompt, and then we're showing you what it got. And at the bottom, it says, would you like a version formatted for print or social as well? Yes, please format a version for print or for social media is what I put. And this is what it gave us right below. It gave us basically something you could copy and paste and put on Facebook right now. Upload a couple photos with it, and that's it. That's really all it
The
takes.
great things, I think, Jeremy, is every time it seems like, and Marcus knows this better than me, but every time I prompt it, it not only gives me a response, but it gives me the opportunity to do more with whatever it shared, whatever it is. If I'm looking for a used car, it'll give me the information and then say, do you want me to show you some in your area that might be in this price range that fit the description that I've just given you? I'm amazed, but it always gives even more options. And here's the next one that it gave you.
Yep. It said, would you like me to, so it gave me the information below or on the previous page about the social media post. And it said, would you like me to format this into an image-based post designed for Facebook as well? Yes, please format into an image-based post designed for Facebook as well. I answered with this question, so it knew what I was asking for. Instead of just saying yes, I was a little bit more specific. And this is what it created. And we had played with some pictures and done some things, just as an example with Bernie. So it took the pictures that we had previously made within the entire chat, and this is what it came with. It gave the logo, it gave the brand, it gave the CERN drive, it gave a few of the pieces, 3 of the pictures, and then it gave the information. And those are their hashtags. This is what ChatGPT created. This isn't, I didn't add any hashtags. This, and again, this is first shot. I didn't edit it. I didn't do anything. So you can then, you could highlight something and change it. You could change pictures. You could do a lot of different things, but we want to show you again, to what Bernie said earlier, we're showing you the recipe. This is easy and quick and did a pretty good job. Spend a little bit more time on it and get it exactly the way you want it. And Marcus, maybe you can talk about how that looks and how long that can sometimes take, and just the examples of what we were able to do in such a short amount of time versus what, you know, it would take normally to have to do all this with previous marketing technology.
Yeah, I mean, first off, previously to do that, you're going to have a hired marketing person that's going to be doing that for you. An ad like this, in most cases in the past, would have taken about 2 hours for them to do. And so instead of 2 hours, you've been able to pull off something that's actually quite nice. It looks super professional, great for a Facebook post, or you could repurpose it, you know, for other applications. And you've done it in less than 10 minutes. I mean, to me, that makes me really, really excited as a business owner.
Definitely. So Jeremy looked at our new boats and I decided, well, let me see what it could do for a used boat. And I just took one from our website, put in a prompt, you know, can you take the boat as pictured, specific data that I gave, the same, you know, all that we had on our website. And can you give me information that I could use to share about it, to add the details was what I was hoping for. And I said an energizing description that includes the key items for customers to see about a used boat. And I know Marcus is going to say, of course, one of the first things that it said to me was, of the list, was price, because as Marcus says, as I recall, call for price is the middle finger of marketing. Is that accurate?
It's the middle
Marcus?
finger of the internet. Yes.
Okay.
Middle finger of the internet.
So it knew that. Maybe it's listened to Marcus, I don't know. But so the first thing you see is that short description and priced at, and there's the price. And then it gave me details, and I really like that it said, what do buyers want to know? And it listed those things, the hours, the style. Is the trailer included? Now, obviously, we pictured the boat with a trailer. It's nice to know it's included, and the person shopping for it doesn't need to worry about it. And then it gave a nice, energizing description there at the bottom. That is literally the first take. You saw this prompt, the 2 pictures I put there, and it filled in what buyers want to know.
So from a dealer standpoint, this is really important because a lot of you, us, we, whoever, you take a boat in of a brand you don't carry and you don't really know everything about it. So you're just posting a handful of things, or maybe you're having to go search all over the internet. You're trying to find it off their website. You're stealing it off of somebody else's listing. Instead of doing that, and Bertie, I apologize, I can't remember if you carry ATX or not, but if you don't carry ATX in this case, and you didn't know anything about the boat, you can now create a very professional, very well-written advertisement for your boat, whether it's on your website or social media or wherever it goes, by using the information that it gives you. And I think that's, again, it's all about giving you the little things that are going to set you apart. And this is definitely one of them. If you don't know the brands that you're taking in on trade and it's not something you sell, the detail that this provides is actually pretty amazing.
That was me, a rookie, with a rookie prompt. And what you see is that the initial response from AI. So I was thrilled with it. And that's unedited. I'm not sure I would do a lot of changes. I would consolidate it, but that was pretty amazing. Marcus and Jeremy, before we go much further, there's been several questions, and I want you, the two of you, to share the AI resources that are out there. And you can recommend if you want to recommend some, but I know there's more than ChatGPT. I know there's Amy, and I definitely want to talk about Amy for a minute in a couple of minutes. But what do you guys suggest for the folks that are new to it and somebody who's become a diehard user?
Jeremy, you can go first, buddy.
Yeah, well, I said it earlier. I use the $20 ChatGPT for most of what I have. I started using the Google image, and maybe I don't have the right name correct for what it is, but Google now has an AI image generator that I did use on some of this, and that was free. So for somebody who just wants to see it and maybe practice it and play with it, if you're not really comfortable paying for something yet, I'll say that if you go through your dealership and you find all the subscriptions you're paying for, whether it's chat on your website or something else, you're probably wasting more than definitely more than $20 a month. You can find $20 to spend. But those are really all I use. I use the Chat GPT, the new one, and I pay $20 for it. And previous to that, I used some of the Google image work. But otherwise, I didn't need anything else. Again, for what I'm doing, I'm not needing somewhat all of the deep research. I saw somebody asked about video. Chat GPT didn't do video yet. I tried that. It gave me it was trying to render it and it never did. And I asked, is there something wrong? Why can't you create a video? And it actually answered me and told me all the reasons why I can't and what I should use instead. So it was like it looked like it was trying, but it was never going to finish. And then it told me why.
Yeah, it's going to get there though on the video. It's just going to be the slowest one to
Yep.
render out, but eventually like your kids are going to be making their own movies that they watch on a Friday night, and they're going to be 90-minute long movies with full plots, and you know, your kid's going to be the only one that ever watches those movies because they made it themselves.
Right.
Here's I'm going to just give a vomit of tools, and hopefully it'll be helpful to people. But these are just some ones that I wrote down before the meeting that you should be thinking about. Having real-time chat on your dealership website is incredibly important, and AI is just the greatest thing ever to taking chat experiences and making them actually good versus suck. And most people think, gee, chat experiences stink on a website. They don't have to stink anymore. A tool like BoChat is specifically designed for the marine industry. That's what it does. So you might want to check that out with BoChat. There's also tools like Kelly Blue Book has a marine API integration. So you can do real-time trade-in valuations on your website if you want to, which is a great interactive tool, very powerful just experience or interactive experience, better stated. The more interaction they have with you on your site outside of just reading something or watching something, when they can do tools, they can put in data, the more the sunk cost fallacy increases and the more likely they are to do business with you. So that's a great one. I think AI call transcriptions are a game changer for dealerships. So you're getting calls right now all the time. You don't know how all of those are going. You now have tools that you can connect, there's too many to mention, but you can connect essentially with your phone calls, and it records all phone calls, and then you can get reports on those phone calls. You can get a summary of every single phone call that you receive. As imagine, like as a owner of your business, a a report of every call that you got that day, of everything that the sales associate did well, of the questions they asked, of all the questions that the customers asked on the phone. I mean, it's just unlimited what you can do with that. Extraordinary. Highly recommend that. Really, really big fan. Huge fan of deep research on ChatGPT. To use deep research, you need to be paying the $20 a month. It's limited at $20 a month. I think it's unlimited at $200 a month. I'm, of course, using $200 a month, and if there's a tool for $2,000 a month, I'm going to spend it tomorrow because that's how much it like changes my life every time I use it. And so I would certainly recommend that you do some just like really deep research. So, for example, you could go into you can do this with regular like ChatGPT 3.0, but if you went to deep research and you said within ChatGPT and you said, I want a list of every single boat dealership that is in your area, call it Fort Lauderdale. I want you to tell me how they're doing from a sales and marketing standpoint. I want you to give a full analysis of each one of their websites. I want you to do an SEO analysis of each one. I want you to tell me what they're doing well, what they're doing poorly, what they're ranking for above me, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you can go down the list and it will do this in an extraordinary way. I mean, deep research will utterly change your life. That's a great one. I'm going to stop there because I mean, I could literally go for 10 minutes and not even take a breath on this, but those are just a few.
With you, Marcus, to get a list of the tools that you experience and use. Maybe that's something we could work with you on and get that out to our participants. That might
Yeah,
be
but you could also just go to Chat GPT
and search
right now and just say, hey, listen, I'm a marine dealership. I want you to give me the best tools in AI specific to marine dealers, and show me use cases for each that are very practical and easy to understand. And it will give you a great list. So just do that again with O3, because O3 is the best simple research tool that you have. It takes a few minutes to think about it, and then it pops out a great answer. It's not automatic because it's actually researching the web real time.
So a lot
And
of
I
the
think the more
participants.
detail you put in, I'm sorry, just before we go on to the next part about Amy and other parts, what Marcus said is very important, though. You have to be as specific as possible. Tell it you're a boat dealer. Don't just say what's the best for my website.
Right.
Say you're a marine dealer. Say where you're at. Say how big you are. Say what website you're using. Whatever else the more what I've found, and everyone else has found too, is that the more detail you give it, the better the answer is.
Definitely. Well, I got to share this
100%.
About AI. I wanted to know, we get requests and we get questions from members about why would I use AI? I've got Amy, artificial intelligence for marine industry education. Why would I use that when I've already got ChatGPT and I'm paying $20 a month for it? Why use Amy? So I kind of decided to put ChatGPT in an awkward situation and say, what could possibly be better about Amy than you? And I was entertained by trying to put pressure on ChatGPT, but it didn't phase it at all. Basically, it said there are times when Amy is better than me, or how it could be better. And that was 4 specific areas. I wanted to share this because I use Amy a lot. I know a lot of dealerships do. And it's because it's so effective because it's a closed AI only using the information that MRAA provides it, the education. Marcus is probably got some of his knowledge in Amy, and now Jeremy will as well. But specialized industry knowledge, the tools that we provide you that you can download and change and make fit your dealership, not only can you get the tools through Amy, but it can help you understand how to use them, which I think is a game changer. All those downloadable items you're going to get in Spotlight, which we're going to talk about in just a second, it can tell you how to use them, not just give you them to download. It's designed for dealerships, and I think this was kind of nice. It's built to be a dealer coach, not just a tool. It's going to coach you on how to do things better as a marine dealer, as our subject matter experts express that and teach us how to do things. Amy is going to follow along and coach you on doing those things. I did note, though, at the bottom, I put it in smaller print so it would fit, but ChatGPT did finalize its comments by saying, but I might be better with these things, which was amusing to me. Creative tasks, complex reasonings, and general business strategies. So I love that it was able to call out Amy, and I think it gives us as dealers a better understanding of how Amy can help us, and now how ChatGPT and others can help us. What we want to do right now is we've got about 10 minutes, if you like, we are open to asking Marcus and Jeremy, fire away with questions. And I want to put one out there that's from our chat already. And it's asking about how do we ensure that dealerships' information, content, listings, blogs, and website are part AI? I think they're asking, how do we make sure that if they search through ChatGPT, that they're still going to find us?
Yeah, so
Marcus?
this is a major topic right now. The future of search is going to be based on AI recommendations and not necessarily on just Google search. And this is going to be the hardest thing for dealerships to deal with. If you think about it, for roughly 20-ish years, we have had to focus on being recommended by two fundamental groups. First major group, customers. All right, we had to score big with them. We had to win their trust, and they had to recommend us. We had to get great reviews from them, great referrals, etc. That's never going to change. All right, that's evergreen. But then for the last 20-ish, 25 years roughly, search engines, especially Google, we've had to get recommended by them. Now, the way that we were recommended by them was twofold: either A, through general SEO search, or B, through paid ads. Now, the big problem that we have going forward, and I mentioned this, of course, at Dealer Week this last December, was more and more every single day, literally hundreds of thousands of people are shifting more of their time away from Google, and they're going towards using ChatGPT for the majority of their searches. And so what does that mean for you? It means there's a lot of you right now that are spending more money on Google Ads than you've ever spent, and you're getting less results. You're also seeing your website traffic may be going down, even though your rankings aren't necessarily going down. Your click-through rates are going way, way down on Google, because even if you're ranked #1, it doesn't mean a whole lot anymore, because you're stinking buried under a ton of sponsored searches plus AI summaries. Over 50% of all Google searches don't even end in a click because they got their answer and they moved on. And so this is the world that we live in. The future of this means that you are going to have to win AI. And AI is going to have to recommend you. How does AI recommend you? It comes down to two words, which are trust signals. You've got to send out more trust signals than anybody else in your marketplace. Now, you're not the only one that's going to be sending those out, though. It's going to come down to the trust signals that others are sending about you too. Reviews are actually going to become much, much more important in the future than they've ever been. And they've been important for a while, because it's going to be one of the fundamental trust signals. But every piece of content you send out, every video you produce, every post that you make is a potential signal, and every interaction with those things is a potential signal, a trust signal that says to AI, I should recommend you. Now, of course, I talk more about this in Endless Customers. There's other ways around this as well. There's some very specific content that you can produce. There's no easy answer here. I've talked about it a pretty good bit on LinkedIn recently, because this is the great challenge. This is why so many SEO companies are going to go out of business over the next couple of years. They're not going to pivot. If they don't pivot towards helping you be recommended by AI, they're in dire straits, and you'll be in dire straits too if you still build your house on Google alone and you're not trying to really win those AI recommendations with trust signals.
There's one other question that I just didn't even think of. I don't know if it was a question, but it said, note that if you use AI to generate content for blogs and such, Google has cracked down with recent updates, and it will de-index your content. Is there a way to overcome that? Because a lot of us will use AI to help us create content.
Yeah, I saw that. That's actually not accurate. That's not accurate. Google's cracking down on bad content. They're not cracking down on AI content. Now, I don't know the details of this person's experience within the chat. I've got a mountain of data on this. And what we know to be true is that there's a lot of companies that are doing very well with partially AI produced content. The issue, though, is there's not enough signals within your content that make it feel human. And you've really got to nail those. So like an example of this, you should have some very dealership centric stories, customer stories or dealership stories in every piece of content you do. I've got a requirement for anybody that comes to, like anybody that sends content to our company, because we help so many companies do this. And the requirement is I need to see one personal experience or company experience in every piece of content you produce. But there's a bunch of other ways that you can send out these signals as well. I did a post on LinkedIn today that was pretty advanced in terms of 10 things that you can be doing that really dramatically enhances your content and how to rank within AI and how to be recommended by AI. And so I'd recommend everybody check that out. It's a little bit technical, but I promise it'll make sense. And you can even copy the entire post that I did today, take it to ChatGPT and say, can you explain Marcus's post in a way that a fifth grader could understand it? And it'll really, really help you out in that way if you don't fully understand it. But the point is, there will be the ultimate is this. When it comes to AI recommendations, AI is not, because we've already seen that AI doesn't know always if something was produced by AI. There's been lots of situations where AI thought something was produced, like AI pointed out a bunch of parts of the Bible that were like supposedly produced by AI. Yeah, I don't think Matthew, Mark, Luke, John did anything with AI back in the day, but this is where AI makes its mistakes, right? And so the thing about it is, what is going to be the ultimate in the future, and it has been leading up to this point, is that it just has to be a higher quality experience that you're providing with your content than anybody else. And if some of that it's AI, that's fine, but it has to feel very high quality, not just a retread. And it's got to have soul and it's got to have personality.
Both of these lighthouse keepers put incredible content on LinkedIn. So before we get into finishing up here, I want to suggest if you're out there and you haven't connected with these two guys on LinkedIn, do it, because the content they put up, the reason Jeremy's with us is a result of his LinkedIn content. We knew him before and I've worked with him before, but his content led me to say, hey, if we're going to do AI, I want Jeremy with us. It's hands-on. And Marcus is a guru about it. And it's just there. One last question that I think is really important to us and that came from one of our staff members is, guys, obviously AI is important. And Marcus, you mentioned it at the very beginning, but how can we as dealerships ensure that our teams are equipped to really effectively use AI? What do you suggest?
Well, you're seeing more and more CEOs take a hard stance on this. And the hard stance, and I believe this is the appropriate stance, frankly speaking, is that your team members should be required to use AI as part of their job. It's part of their job description. Now, you then in turn are required to train them up. And that's where it gets a little bit more difficult, because if you're saying to you might be saying to yourself, well, we're all ignorant with this, Marcus. How in the world can I require them something that I myself cannot do? And this is why you want to be working with a company that trains people how to use AI. I just wrote about this. If your marketing agency that you're working with isn't training you, if you're like your SEO company or whatever it is, isn't training you how to use AI, you're losing ground. And I don't know if they're the best fit for you going forward. That's what you need to be doing. You have to be doing this. Now, other than that, though, you don't have to pay somebody. You can literally go to AI right now, ChatGPT, and do what we said earlier, which is teach me. Ask me any questions you need, but teach me how to use you, because I am so ignorant, and just treat me like a first grader and help me learn how to use you. And if you have a humble spirit about you and you're like, this is, whether I like it or not, this is the future. And as I said at MRAA, listen, you might be saying, I think this is the Terminator and this is the end of the world. And maybe it all is. But I don't know about you, but I want my business to be very successful between now and the end of the world. And which is why I'm going to be using AI very aggressively so that I can be on the cutting edge of delivering the ultimate customer experience, which is never going to change. And we've got to stay in front of the game in that regard.
Jeremy, any other thoughts on that to get our employees involved, or us as the leader?
Well, I just think you have to just take something that you want to do and go do it. I mean, there's really whatever it's what we showed for your example with a website, whether it's pictures. I've used it for random things. My wife took a picture of a flower on her walk. She said, "Oh, I wonder what kind of flower that is." And I said, "Oh, just wait till we get home. We'll find out." Right. And I didn't have my phone with me. So we uploaded the photo, told me what it was. Now that's more of a Google sort of different thing, but use it for something in your personal life. Just ask it for comparison of your dealership and whoever your biggest competitor is in your market. Ask it what it thinks of your dealership and a certain brand you carry. Ask it to write a book review for you. Ask it to do something that you want. I think the best thing to do is just to start using it, and I mean, almost for lack of a better way of saying it, just play with it a little bit and then see where it goes and see which part you get. And then when you get down the path a little bit, ask it how to do it better. I think just what Marcus said and what we said earlier, when I got stuck and I was having a problem, I just asked it how to be better and it told me. And I think that's the key, is that, again, this isn't just a Google search. It's learning, but it's also teaching. It'll teach you how to do better with it. That's a bad way of saying it, but
Here's the thing, like you have to look at it. This is why I'm like obsessed about the ideas. Like, we can't just call it a tool. We have to see it as a legit assistant, right? Can you imagine if you had a team member called Jane, let's say, and you said, "Yeah, I use Jane all the time to help me do such and such." It's like, no, it's like Jane is responsible for such and such in our company, and she helps me with this, right? It's like, so Jane's not a tool. Jane is a coworker. She is an assistant. And if you had an assistant, let's say you had suddenly you had 10 new assistants, and you didn't know everything they could do for you, but you knew that they could dramatically affect your business, what would you do? Well, you'd go to them and you'd say, "Tell me about yourself. Tell me what you could do. Tell me where your strengths are. Tell me, what you might be able to bring to the table." You'd have full-on conversations with them to start. And then they would ask you questions about you. And then together you'd figure out, oh, okay, so would be a perfect position for you. If you took the time tomorrow to analyze everything you do as a leader of your company throughout the day, and then with each one of those things, you went to ChatGPT and you said, "How could you help me to do this thing better, this task better?" You'd be amazed. I mean, it would shock you what it would help you with and the efficiencies you would start to build. And suddenly you'd go from a denier or a doubter or a passive user to someone that's like myself, because I usually, I usually have 3 or 4 windows open a day, like at any point in the day, where I might have multiple, like this morning, I had a moment where I had 4 AI searches going on at one time. They're all 4 different tasks. And because AI is working for me. So I'm saying to AI, "I want you to go research this," and I leave it and I open up another window, and then I'm asking it to do a different task, and I leave it and I open up another window, and I come back, and all this work is done for me. It's glorious. I feel like a superhuman, for the love of Pete. When was the last time you felt like a superhuman, right? It's like, okay, you feel like a superhuman on the water. I agree with that. You caught that monster big eye. I agree with that. Well, you feel like a superhuman when you're doing 10x what you used to do before, because you're learning how to use these tools that we've been blessed with.
Yep. Well said. So we're gonna
Bernie, and we may have I think Connie has raised her hand. Here we go. Yeah, we have a recording. There'll be a recording of this that we'll share. So you're good to go, Connie.
Will the webinar be available to view later? Yes. We're going to send it out. Angela, who's back in the Minneapolis MRAA office, she does so much with her online education. She'll put it together and get it off to you guys as soon as possible. I presume it'll be by tomorrow. But just so you know that. But don't leave yet. I know we're almost an hour in. We're almost done. There's just a couple of QR codes coming up. One of them is truly a game changer, so don't go anywhere. I want to mention again, the Education Foundation is such an important part of the MRAA through scholarships and helping to fund education, helping leaders develop industry training, all the above. If you've enjoyed the training, definitely go to this QR code And if you can, certainly donate. The funds that go to them truly make a difference in the marine industry. There's just no doubt about it. They're the reason we're here today, along with everything that the dealers have been asking for. And that's what Jared is going to talk about here, is how we're, in more ways than the webinar, taking care of you guys with digital marketing. So here's this right now, Jared.
Yeah, like Bernie said earlier, go ahead and grab your phone if you have a phone. I just shared this same link that this should take you to, but we know that digital marketing, because of the report and how certain dealerships are, this is a pain point for them. We've taken the spotlight and made the digital marketing spotlight from May through June. We're doing a 2-month extension. We've have several, I believe there might be another slide, Bernie. There's several.
A whole lists
of things according to that, including the digital marketing report. We have these focus webinars. There were 4 of them. We have several thought leadership blogs from several of our partners, at least 6, and 2 in-house articles, 1 on SEO, and that's a changing game too, as Marcus said. But and there's another thing which I'd like to point out, which Bernie had mentioned earlier, I believe, was the online boat marketplace comparison tool. It's a new thing. It was requests specifically from dealers as a need. They wanted to be able to know if where they're putting, they're investing their time and money and energy, if they're getting what they need, and if they don't know where to, haven't done this and they don't know where to start, this can help them choose and select.
So this QR code, folks, will take you right to this marketplace comparison tool. And I've already spent some time, scrolling through the different marketplace third-party platforms that are out there so I could compare them. And I know this has been a topic of discussion out there. This is MRA's answer for you. Take a look. There are a lot of options for you, great ones, and you can compare on our website your choices. And there are quite a few. And if you're out there and you're not on this list and you want to be, because you have a listing, a marketplace option, reach out to us. We'll get you on there. This is, in a sense, a one-of-a-kind option to compare those things, and it's only at MRAA.com. So that QR
Bernie,
code is an important one.
Bernie, one thing to touch on too is that everything you see supplied there was supplied from that actual company. It's not,
right. We can't verify the numbers, for example, of monthly site traffic, but that's what they're telling us. And we're passing what they're telling us on to you. And maybe you could ask ChatGPT or another AI what they think the numbers are. Why not? I mean, you'll hopefully have it and you can ask them. A few other items. We've got on May 14th, another webinar with Tim Schmidt. He's fantastic at marketing. I think the key there will be how to analyze your CRM and to figure out what's working and what's not. On May 21st, Danny Decker and Sean Horsfall are joining us. Check out Sean's Lens Cove Marina. The work that
Great,
he
they
does.
ask you answer practitioner there, by the way. Good old Sean. He's one of my guys, so he's crushing it.
He's doing it.
He gets it.
He's doing it. Definitely. But the thing Danny's going to share is gaining step-by-step instructions to execute an affordable 90-day retargeting campaign. I'm looking forward to both of them. I think that's going to be a killer one too. We've got micro-learning opportunities coming. Keep an eye on MRA.com. Angela with online education is going to make those happen. Micro-learning is about 15 minutes of education. And as MRAA does so well, we're going to have tools and resources that Amy can help you implement. So don't be shy. Check those out. And I want to make sure we mention, before I turn it back over to Marcus and Jeremy, our education champions. These are the groups that really make education throughout the year possible through the MRAA, whether it's Dealer Week, the online courses, the blogs. They do so much. It's incredible in helping us. So I want to recognize that list of supporters and education champions that we have at MRAA. So one last piece, the contact information, especially obviously for Jeremy and Marcus, their emails. Marcus, Jeremy, any last thoughts for our crew that's still on board with us?
Last thing I'll say about this, in the year 1997, there's this new thing called electronic email that came out, or excuse me, electronic mail that came out. And at the time, a lot of salespeople all over the world pushed back on it and said, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to do face-to-face. I'd ask you, how did it work out for those people? And what's happening today is about 1,000x more monumental than email was in 1997 when it became mainstream. And so my ask for you is that you really get on this train, that you lean into it. It's your fiduciary as a business leader, as a business owner, to meet the market where the market is. And this is where the market is going. Hopefully you'll check out my new book too, Endless Customers. It's on Amazon right now. And like They Ask You Answer, it crushes and you'll love it.
Perfect. Jeremy.
I just say that it's time to start. I mean, for everyone who's not sure where to go, just go somewhere and learn from guys like Marcus. He post a lot of content out there. Did a great job at Dealer Week, and keep following things like MRAA and Marcus, and even me a little bit on LinkedIn, and some of the other people that are more into the space and who can help teach you and learn from it, and take part in webinars like this and the next couple coming up. There's so much available that MRAA, and whether it's Marcus or me or whoever else is on these different webinars, we all want to see everyone succeed, and those who put in practice just a small percentage of what we go through are going to be so far ahead of everyone. There's been 100 and I think 9 at one point people on this webinar. There's 8,000 dealerships in the country. I mean, come on. Even if all 109 go do it, you're going to own your market. So just get started.
Well said. You guys have been great lighthouse keepers, and I think the MRA, lighthouse is shining bright. So thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody that joined us today. Please, as they both said, jump in, go do it, and we'll see you on the 14th at noon Eastern Standard Time for our next webinar. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.